Well, you actually seen me swap sides out there. The reason is because the small end has to go near the front of the sawmill up here, because this is where I've got my hydraulic jack set up. What I do is I raise this one up to meet that end. I'll make my first pass, then I rotate it 90 degrees to the log stops over there, and I'll make another pass. That gives me a 90-degree angle, and then I can just roll it and rotate it from there, and it ends up a nice square cant. Okay. Most of the time whenever I start, I will grease these bearings, because maintenance is one key to longevity. I also oil up as many components that turn and operate that I can. Probably unnecessary, but I do it anyway. Probably going to have to change this blade pretty soon, because I've cut several trees with it. The harder the wood, they can get duller a lot quicker. Well, you can see that my water level is low, so I'm going to have to fill that back up. I had the saw blade jump off a while ago. I think that I'm going to have to purchase a new idler and pulley belt because it doesn't seem to get as tight as it used to. I think because the belts are wearing down, but I have sawed, I mean, numerous logs with it. So I would assume it's probably time for some new ones. Figured I'd stop and fill this up while I'm at it. I'm going to try to finish cutting this one log, and then I probably won't cut any more until I have a chance to maybe stop by a parts store and see if they have belts that would fit this. Otherwise, I'll have to order them from Norwood. It would just be a little while before I got them. It doesn't go through too much water. It depends on how much you open that valve down there. I just try to provide a little more than a droplet, but a little less than a steady stream. That seems to do well. Like I said earlier, if it's too much, then all of the sawdust is wet and it sticks on the inside. My main concern is just trying to keep the blade cool. Alright, so I've been having a little bit of an issue. Sawdust comes from this blade and it's naturally blowing in this direction because the blade is cutting this way, and it lands right down on the top of this. If you can see this little thing right here, it's an insert that goes in there. I soak it in oil and it's supposed to help keep the track lubricated. I also added this little brush down here to kind of brush the sawdust off, because if it's really wet it kind of gets caked up and creates little humps, little bumps. Doesn't really affect the cutting too much, but anyway, it constantly is building up right here with sawdust, and so I decided I would cut this little jug and set that on it right there, so that would kind of keep the sawdust from getting on that, hopefully, and we'll see if it can help matters. I don't have in here is greens. Candace says she didn't want any vegetables, so I made her a fork, which is basically a skewer, so she can stab her meat and eat it. You sure you don't want any of those vegetables?
Thank you.
So what I've got in here is red bell pepper, yellow bell pepper, onions, potatoes. I actually forgot the greens, and
Lime.
that was some lime juice, yeah. I'll leave that there where it'll stay warm.
They're good.
What's good?
Potatoes. Even though they were cooked with onions, they're still good.
Okay, got my wooden fork out here. They're almost done, but I just couldn't wait. Hungry. That fork works good. I like yours too.
I like this is my spear. Well done, sir. Well done.
Well, I managed to get a pretty good run on the siding. I've actually got, well, how many rows did we figure?
8.
8 rows of 5. So that's 40 pieces of 1x10, which I think is just a little bit more than what I need to cover the whole front, minus doors and windows. So there may be a few pieces left over to go around the side. Anyway, if I can double that, then I should be able to get front, back, and possibly maybe close to one side, with the exception of the gable ends. So I'm thinking going to need 3 times that. I think the gable ends, I think I'm going to do that kind of like board and batten, because these will be running sideways if I do the lap siding, and so I want to change and go up with a little bit different pattern. But anyway, that was another day of playing catch up and milling lumber up. You know, it's kind of boring, I should say, for viewers to watch milling lumber, although it needs to be done because it's the same thing, repetition over and over. I did take the belts off the sawmill, the drive and the idler belt, and I'm going to go see if I can replace those so that it will run better. And I also packaged up a bunch of the blades so that I can take those and have them resharpened and set, so that I will be able to continue to cut lumber, because if I cut all day long, I generally use 2, which I haven't been doing that, but if I get enough logs up here where I can start, you know, production, then I'll go through about 2 blades a day. And I did manage to dig this down a little bit deeper a while ago because there was a couple of high spots in it. You can see right there was a high spot, and just behind it was, and I actually got that dug down. Even though this ditch over here on the side is fairly deep, it's not going to bother me because water, you know, that's what we want it to do, is drain. So I'm going to go ahead and knock off at this point. It's getting late. I've got to work tomorrow. Again, we really appreciate all of your support, watching the videos and subscribing. And like I said, go check that new store out because my son's done a lot of work on it and he's got a lot of great items in there. Anyway, everyone, have a great evening. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you back up here at the Outpost in the future.
Mm-hmm.